you. October is National Chiropractic Health Month. It's a time to promote spinal health and remove the stigma associated with chiropractic care. Here to help us debunk some of those fears that you may have, we welcome Dr. Rick DiGregorio from Atlas Chiropractic in Denver. Dr. Rick.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming in, my friend.
Thank you.
So Rick's been treating me. I've got some issues with my neck, but for 5 years now, I am like a totally different person. So I thank you for your
You are so welcome.
Your care. But a lot of people, they hear chiropractor, they get nervous. They're scared. You said they come into your office. What do they say to you and how do you address it?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 43 years, and I would say that that's the number one issue that we have to kind of get people to get a little bit more confident and at ease with when they know that there are a lot of us that don't do a lot of high velocity manipulation, that we use instruments and ways, non-force treatments to realign the spine or decompress the spine and work with discs and so forth, without that risk of twisting, pulling, or cracking.
And that's the difference. There's, different types of chiropractic care. What you do, none of that cracking and whatnot is happening. It's a much more gentle treatment option.
It is, and there's quite a coalition within our field that have moved, especially with the cervical spine. It's such a delicate part of the human anatomy, and most often it used to be a lot of low back, but cervical spine necks are probably 1 in 1 right now as far as people having issues with all kinds of neurological in that part of their body. Headaches, blurred vision, hearing issues, and just things that can be neurologically associated with structural changes that can create some issues that sometimes are overlooked, and we're able to do that without that fear.
Headaches and other things. Sometimes different aches and pains in the body are actually related to our cervical spine, and we're not really aware of it.
That's true. And
not being aligned.
Yeah, and when you think about the human, the controlling system being the nervous system, here's the central computer, and of course that information has to get to every fiber and tissue of the body. So that's the pathway to the rest of the body. And think about a 14-pound head on an average adult-sized skull on a little set of 5 vertebrae that weigh 2 ounces. It's a pretty big job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about just some general best practices for our spinal health. So for people at home, some do's and don'ts, because I was doing a lot of things wrong before I started coming to see you.
Okay, fair enough. Basic stuff, right? When you think about how you're sleeping, not to put yourself up on 2 pillows at night where you're pushing your head forward. The way you sit, there's a lot of jobs today associated with sitting. We call that text necking when people are doing a lot of this. So things that allow you to bring your posture back upright. And lifting is very important. When you're going out and you're picking things up, hands and feet in the same direction, rather than picking up something, even if it's only 5 or 10 pounds. Erica, you know as well as I do that rotating around that axis and moving things as you train and lift, very important, that whole postural hygiene. Is that, can we use that term?
Totally.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I do want you to explain the difference between a regular general chiropractor and an Atlas orthogonal chiropractor, and that is what you do, and it is different.
It is different, and so we use imaging that allows us to use information that allows us to realign the cervical spine with an instrument that is a percussive instrument. It's just, as you know, this is a little bit of a sound wave, and so that is a postgraduate system of care designed to very technically reposition mathematically with very, very detailed imaging. And think of it as kind of a guided correction based on what we see in 3D imaging. And it's just a subtle tap. And of course, we really focus on that upper area because it's the most vulnerable to misalignment, as you know.
So if you're aligned up here, everything, falls
the
into
head,
place.
it's just that the body's always trying to get under that misalignment. So when you lose that correction, shoulders do one thing, hips do another. I know we're seated, but hopefully you can see that. And so it's a compensatory effect. And so we're not doing general manipulation to help with motion, but literally repositioning the spine using that upper area of the spine.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in and giving us the breakdown this morning. We really appreciate it,
Great.
Dr. Rick.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, absolutely.